Yeah, so always just rotate around the different interviews.
That's cool though. Different perspectives, like, and then no one kind of overrides each
Yeah.
other. That's cool though. I like it that way.
Yeah, and we always find if you sit 5 dudes in a room, it just gets
It gets out of control, especially online. Like,
yeah, we've seen, well, especially like if you put anyone on a camera as well, then it's 5 people trying to be a clown.
Yeah, I find it's pretty chill if you like face to face. You know, like because then you can kind of see and everyone can kind of cue each other in to like speak. But if you're doing it like this with like a online thing,
Yeah,
like,
all the social cues are there to be like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Right now I need to talk.
100%. Yeah,
I stare the person down.
You guys sent through your EPK via email. I've been sitting and going through it, and good God, your guys' online presence is on point.
How are those graphics, bro?
The website, the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, everything that I've seen is just got such an air of like professionalism to it. It's absolutely fantastic.
Thanks, thank you so much. Yeah. So actually due to Peter, he's amazing with that.
He's our main designer, videographer, leader, captain, king, all of the above.
You're all for one kind of guy.
Yeah, no, without him, I don't think we would be anywhere at all.
You guys, to the best of my knowledge, have been around for a while, at least. I think I've known of you for at least like the last 3 to 4 years. Like, how long has Peasant been going?
Jeez, I'd have to check on our own social media and see
Yeah,
when we started.
We're like the newest members in the band. Like I think I've been a part of Peasant for just over 2 years now, and Graham's maybe about 3 or 4 now.
I was the first member that got swapped out. Well, swapped in, should I say?
That's cool. Like, it's also like a new perspective. Also, it gives like insight to like the direction that the band went, and all these sort of things. So, just to give you guys context, we've jumped straight into this. This whole thing is just a conversation about your music, you guys as individuals, and just your experiences. We just have a chat about everything really, and just wherever it goes. So we're already recording, just so that you have that flag, just so you know, in case you've said something and you're like, oh fuck.
Okay, so
no, so the sort of recording icon, I'm like, okay, yes, this is good to go.
It's live.
So
guys, just introduce yourselves and what you do in the band.
I do vocals and Peasant, and usually help out with a lot of the songwriting, lyrics and stuff like that. And Peter and I would always discuss the way that the album's theme or like ideas would go towards. So help a lot of putting the direction where our releases will like kind of guide us towards. So that's a lot of what I input. But otherwise just screaming and looking angry on stage.
And I am Graham. I'm Graham, the drummer. I'm in charge of keeping everyone in time and in check. Probably the least serious in terms of like demeanor, the clown in the band. Yeah, I don't know if I have much more of a role other than just being the tight one,
smacking them drum skins.
Yeah, hitting as hard as I can, I guess.
That's cool, because your guys' music, it definitely has an impact. So you guys are a hardcore band from Cape Town, unless I've misread horrifically. And so a hardcore band from Cape Town, and your music hits hard. It's just straight up in your face. It's right up in there. And is that just the general, the direction of it is just to be as upfront as possible? Tell me a bit more about the music itself.
You mentioned also earlier about like member changes, etc., and how that's affected and changed stuff. Like it's quite cool to go back to the beginning and check the progression of our sound even over the years, from where it was to where it is now. I think it started more hardcore-ish, and now it's got more metallic influence to it. So it's definitely had like a lot of changes, but now with the lineup that we have, I think we've found a more Peasant sound.
Yeah, it's like a lot of the music was my personal opinion is definitely inspired by a whole genre of hardcore, but also a little bit of D beats, mixing a bit of the snare, the old school thrash and the death, but keeping it mostly hardcore, which I think has like shaped our sound very much to what Graham was saying, like the Peasant sound. Like it's a very unique style of songwriting that Peter has guided the band towards. But the new stuff is definitely I want to say modern, a bit more modern take on, but I'll say more modern influences on the on that sound. So it's like we're still driving towards that peasant sound, but a lot more hard hitting metallic hardcore type of aggression to it. So yeah, I think the new stuff is gonna be a big combination of what we're going towards and what we've already done, which we're really excited for right now.
The new stuff you're talking about is the EP that's coming out on May 28th. There,
Yeah.
are you guys stoked about this? Has it just it's been
Jeez.
something that's been in the works for a while, and you're just really hyped to get it out there?
Yeah, no, definitely. We've been sitting on it for a while now, and we're just like so eager to release it. It's like, yeah, it's really awesome for us to finally put all this effort into it, because we really went like focused on less songs, but like a lot more production and a lot more
Quality.
resources going into quality. Yeah. So we're really excited to get it out there ASAP.
You check all the older stuff, and then you see how each one we've tried to step up the recording to the next level. I mean, it started very basic, and we just like improved everything that we could every time we went into the studio, which was rad.
I was listening to the stuff on Spotify on my drive to work and my drive home.
Yeah.
And then I listened to Crack of the Bell when I got home, and
Yeah.
just that everything is just a solid level up. I mean, the stuff on Spotify is fantastic. I enjoyed it thoroughly, but then Crack of the Bill is just that clear step up where exactly what you said, you can see that taking up that quality and just taking everything a step further. It's absolutely brutal. How long have you guys been working on this?
I'd have to say, we had some of the tracks. We did an EU tour a while back, and kind of before and after that, we were working on songs with the release of the Unrest Eternal. But a little bit after that, we had some songs recorded, and we started like defining them. So I would say it's almost 2 years now that we sit with some of the tracks, but a year ago we finalized some of the last ones. So we had was usually what we do is we get a whole bunch of songs, and we're like, okay, we gotta pick now, which is the hardest part I think any band has to go through. if you're a musician,
Just single out 3 tracks and be like, okay, we're only going to do these ones.
Like
and
picking your
then
children.
then decide to take it from there. And yeah, I'll say maybe like a year, 2 years from now that we've been sitting on some of the songs, but only really started working like finalizing them recently.
It's still a lot, like a lot of planning and a lot more in advance that a lot of bands do, particularly South African bands. Because majority of the bands I know, it's cool, we're going to studio and this is releasing as soon as it's done. Like there's very little like thought and planning into it. Like, like you'll have the bands who do their like the EP launch and A, B, and C and whatnot. But the level of planning that you guys have put out, the level or the amount of time that this has been in the works is actually crazy.
Yeah, I think there's always like goals in place. So you want to always, take it a step up and plan it to that level of detail so that you get the desired result. I mean, if you wanna reach for the stars, you gotta plan to reach for the stars.
I think that's a lot of the mindset that we I think older bands take on. It's like you do those first few releases and you're like, okay, cool, but now if we're gonna carry on doing it, it takes time and resources, and we're not getting any younger. So it's like either gotta like get into the mindset of stepping it up like as much as you can, or just kind of backing out, and I think we're in the go time mode.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Like
I think also with COVID and the pandemic and stuff, obviously there's no shows, so like the focus is now on, okay, cool, we've got material, let's do stuff with it. I mean, we're already working on the next stuff and the next stuff and the next stuff, so we're always like in go mode all the time now.
But that's good. That's great though, to just have, to keep working, because I know a lot of bands who have given up in this kind of time, or just kind of waiting for it to blow over instead of making do with what they've got or doing what they can. And you guys are clearly doing what you can in the space of time, and that makes all the difference.
Yeah, it's brought up a few challenges. I mean, we were used to playing shows and, you get a bit of cash here and there from shows, and now all of a sudden everything's kind of like, there's nothing. So now it's all out of our own like pockets. And it's changed the dynamic of how we're able to do stuff now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely been tough on all the bands with everything happening, but yeah, it's something that we're just trying to not like completely hold us back is just putting all into it. And thank you so much for letting us know that it's showing. It sounds like we're doing something right, so I really appreciate that.
It's amazing that people are noticing. Yeah.
Like I'm the resident fanboy of the local the music scene. I'm stoked about everything. Don't let that take away from it though. It's just like credit where credit is due. Like the effort is clearly there, and it's fantastic. More
Sure.
guys need to take steps in those directions. I mean, it's not easy for everyone, and you guys have clearly said that there were challenges, but it's definitely a step. It's something that would have to be done, and I can definitely appreciate the effort that was put into it.
Yeah, what we also did was we got our own little like studio now. So we found a space. I mean, we searched for quite a while. We all put our heads together and looked for spots, and we found a place that we've now called like the Peasant Studio. And yeah, it just gives us more freedom to rehearse the stuff, work on new things. Even for myself as the drummer, like I've never really had like a practice spot or place to practice, and it makes stuff a lot easier to progress and get to that goal that you set out.
That's one thing I could definitely recommend to guys starting to start up a band, or that's been like going for a while, that don't have their own practice place. They're kind of like renting out a place with other bands and things like that, is to kind of like go get your own place, because we get to sit down and have meetings and speak about serious stuff. We're necessarily not even jamming when we can't jam, so it's like it's a good meditative space to plan and do things and stuff like that. I think it's very important for band to have.
No, definitely. It definitely makes a lot of sense in terms of having that space that's designated for it. I mean, if you're, like you're saying, if you're renting out, sharing a space with other bands, there's distractions, there's always something. Whereas if it's that dedicated space, when you get there, you're in the mindset of, this is Peasant time. Let's focus on this.
It's quite often we'd use like the shared spaces, and you go and there's other bands jamming, and then take a break, and all of a sudden it's an hour conversation and chats and catch-ups, and you kind of lose sight of what you were there for in the first place.
I mean, I miss chatting with and catching up with those bands and stuff, which was really cool as well. But
I mean, it does lack that social aspect completely, which sucks. I guess that's been 2020 and 2021 in a nutshell.
Pretty much is social non-existence, basically.
Sucks, man. We miss shows, we miss being on stage, we miss just everything about it. Lights, loud music, headaches, ears ringing, like little bruise here and there.
It's definitely something that it becomes like a pinnacle, or like a pivotal part of your life, is just having that moment of release. Like performing is like nothing else, and a lot of bands will resonate with that. And that not being able to perform, it definitely takes its toll on an artist. Like, how has it affected you guys individually? Like, when was the last time you guys actually played a show?
Well, the last show we played was the biggest show I think Peasants ever played, was with the Black Dahlia at Ramfest, and that was extremely amazing to be on a big stage like that, and jam with good sound.
With a band like Black Dahlia, it's crazy.
Yeah, the most amazing thing about it was like, for me, it was like really nervous before getting on stage, but once you're there, and it just feels right, and it's something that you can never take away from someone. It's extremely amazing feeling. And just the matter of fact of seeing Black Dahlia, we're like the only country that's ever seen Black Dahlia play their new album Verminous live, which is also a pretty cool thing. But yeah, that was pretty much our last show.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, COVID hit not long, well, COVID had hit, but the first wave of restrictions was not long after that show, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, there was worries of being cancelled.
Pretty much like right after that, everything was cancelled, everything was shut down. So
we were so lucky that we got away with that. I mean, obviously it started just before that, and there were a lot of murmurs and cases starting to break out, but like people weren't too worried. They're like, what is this pandemic thing that's being mentioned?
No, it hadn't hit home yet.
And then all of a sudden, boom. Yeah. I mean, I think that was about the 13th or 14th of March, and then we went full lockdown on the 27th. So it was looming.
There's like a really funny story of that time when we were actually playing that that show at Ramfest, where the COVID was just about to hit and all that stuff, and one of us made a comment on stage where we were just like, yeah, things are going to get hectic, support the bands with merch and stuff like that, because we're not going to really be able to do this anymore. And some of the people were like, oh, what the hell, they took that like negatively, and like now it's a thing, like people are buying like merch.
Little did
like,
you know the truth in your own words.
Like, yeah, but like people are like, oh man, they're mocking it, and then like after that, it was
prophecy
like,
has been fulfilled.
it was shit hit the fan. It was like, fuck.
I also have a funny story regarding this. Is that like a Facebook memory came up, and 2019 was rough for me. And I'd put up this post saying I would like to have 2020 drop its pants and show me the shaft I'm dealing with before I challenge it. And like,
you asked for it. Look what happened.
and this came up as a memory a year later, and I was like, well, this is fucking poetic.
It's like, oh shit, the time.
At least I didn't plan too far in advance.
I just broke my chair. I don't know if you heard that massive crack. The crack of the bell. The chair is now broken.
Crack of the chair.
By the crack of the chair.
I wanted to just touch on something. You mentioned doing an EU tour. Tell me a bit more about that. So you guys, how often did you guys play outside of the country? Like that's like a big dream for a lot of like local bands, and like what was that experience like for you guys?
Unforgettable. Like after being there, all we can think about is like, cool, like it would be super rad to go back and do those things. Like for myself, like I haven't really been outside of SA. I mean, I did as a kid, but you don't appreciate as much when you're growing up. I mean, I was like maybe 9 and I wanted to get Pokemon cards and computer games, now it's like, oh, I'm seeing all these places that I've like seen in movies or whatever. Now all of a sudden, like I'm here. And it was just amazing. Like it was about 12 shows that we jammed in about 13 or 14 days. So it was a lot of hard work, a lot of, we were lucky enough to have like a tour van, and it fit all the gear, all of us in. And it was a lot of packing and unpacking like a million times a day. But so worth it. It was so fun. The dudes that we toured with from Prescription Death, like a Swedish.
I've seen Prescription Death actually.
Did you?
Yeah, I saw them here in Durban actually. Like
those guys are crazy wild, but crazy cool.
Dude, so Swedish people are some of the funniest people I've ever met in my life, man. Oh my god, they're amazing.
So dry.
I remember them being like, so funny.
They have like the best humor in the world.
Yeah. I was gonna say, did you see Godmother as well? Like the other Swedish band that came down.
No, I didn't. If they came to Durban, no.
They put on an absolute spectacle when they were here. Like after seeing them, we're like, holy crap! Like shit's popping off on that side. We need to scope Europe out and see what's going on that side.
But touching back on the Euro tour thing, as a band, it was amazing. Like we learned a lot. I think, being on tour in general in Europe is like such a good good to seeing that side of the world is amazing. But also meeting people, and like people there are like are really, really amazing, and making connections and things like that. You have to because a lot of bands that side that are like kind of like bigger, they get that opportunity. Well, at the time when tours and things were still a thing, which I'm sure there will be in the future, but obviously because of times now, whatever. But they get to meet people in that scene and jam those big shows all the time, or at least grind to the point where they can. And then for a local band to try and do that, it's really tough. So just getting your foot in the door was the coolest experience ever. So we definitely want to try and get out that side again.
It's so sick that it's small enough to just drive around. It was like 4 hours drive, 6 hours drives, and all of a sudden you're in another country. So it's like you get to tour 5 or 6 different places, all within like a short drive of each other.
I can only imagine what experience that must have been. I just want to touch on the fact that you said you played 12 shows over 13 days.
I think it was something like that. The one show that got cancelled, something bombed out of the promoter, or the actual show just wasn't booked, or something happened. But that was the best day because we got the day off. It was in Prague as well, so we got to walk around Prague and have the most amazing day, just absorbing everything. Because the problem is, obviously, you're playing a show, you wake up, you pack the stuff, and it's on to the next place. You don't really get to absorb where you are, and you don't get to like look around and like, oh my gosh, I'm in Europe and all these different places. And then that day it was just like amazing. We got to just chill, relax, absorb, scope out the scenery, and yeah, that was great.
I'm absolutely mind blown by the fact of that many shows in that space. Like a lot of bands don't get to do that within the space of a month. So I'm just thinking of that consecutive, like at one point you guys must have just been able to set your stuff up in your sleep and just like walk me through the requirements to actually that what was expected of you guys as a band, just for anyone who might be listening, who is like, this is their goal. This is something they're preparing themselves for. Like walk me through that. What would you guys give as advice to any artist who would potentially be doing that?
I think the luckiest thing was that we didn't have any lazy dudes on the tour because there was 9 of us. So there's 5 in Peasant and 4 in Prescription Death, and everyone just worked as a unit. After the first like 2 or 3 days of learning how to pack the van like a Tetris game, it just became like this smooth, fluid movement. We'd rock up at the venue, everyone would know what to take out, stack it, go park the car, set up. I mean, it's rad. I mean, you have so many, there's 2 drummers, so we can each help set up the stuff, and it goes so quick, and then all the guitarists putting all their stuff. And yeah, I mean, everyone just chipped in and did their stuff without needing to say anything. It just kind of happened, which was pretty rad. So if you do have lazy people, that's gonna suck because some people will do more work than others. But yeah, it was also really cool, as I say, having that van. Without that van, things would have been a bit trickier because there's so much space for everything inside there. I mean, it was all of our gear plus all of our sleeping stuff and touring bags. And
yeah, and it was definitely it's like, but you have to. I haven't been that fit in my life to ever do that. You know, it's like jamming on top of jamming the show. You're taking your gear into the venue and then packing it down, then generally packing it back into your sleeping place, and then next day packing it into the van, and then doing that again for like 12 days straight. And I have to say it was really enjoyable. It doesn't sound enjoyable, but it was, because it's like, you know, when you get into that mindset of like, this is what you know, if you had the opportunity to do this for the rest of your life as a profession, you know, it has to feel good. You know, you have to love what you do. And it was really good. You know, it just felt like really good going from place to place and working that hard to you know, get your music out there and jam to people. It was good.
it's the only enjoyable physical exercise I've ever done in my life.
Yeah, I can say that again.
It takes a big
line.
toll on your body. Yeah, it takes a huge toll on your body. I mean, yeah, you can see them about the vocals.
Oh yeah, vocals. Yeah, that's one thing I have to. I'd say like every vocalist has their way of dealing with, you know, a strain on your voice, because after the 3rd or 4th show, you know, doing extreme vocals, it takes a big toll. My main trick, I'd say, was green tea and honey. That like really helped me out with the recovery of my throat, because I was trying like lozenges and trying all these things and stuff like that, but it wasn't really working. With green tea and honey really worked. But yeah, you gotta kind of like pace yourself. If you go all out in the first few days, you're gonna have a bad time. And yeah, that's something that I really gotta work on. But you know, it's cool to go through that experience and then learn.
Yeah,
because yeah,
I
like
think pacing
a big
yourself
thing.
is a big one now.
Yeah, like a big thing for me is like you know, I think it's so tough on a band when a live performance gets released and the vocalist is having a shit performance, because some people look at that performance and then they judge the vocalist just on that show alone. And it's like, oh, the dude's vocals are shit. But it's like, I would say like 80 to 70% of the time, it's not really the case. It's like those guys have been touring, you know, like week-long tours, and that vocalist has been going through like so much training in his voice that you can't just take one performance and just say like, yeah, that's how he sings live. It's really tough, because like there was some live footage that I look back at on the tour, and I look at the way I was singing and so one part of the song, and I'm like, oh my fucking god, man, that was horrible.
There's so many factors to include into that, not just, you know, the fact that they met. This may be their like 6th show this week. There's other factors like how the sound was that day, the venue itself, like, and what type of recording was listened to as well.
Wherever you go, you get what you get. You don't know, like we obviously don't know the venues there, we don't know the sound, we don't know organizers, anything. Like here, we're obviously blessed. We know the people that are here, and we're like, cool, this will work for this show, this will work, blah blah blah. But there, you just hoy with whatever you've got there, you know.
Yeah.
But pacing yourself is a big thing. I mean, it's quite easy to, as Audrey says, you burn out if you don't do that. I mean, it's quite easy to want to party every night, but you actually got to kind of like hold back and be like, okay, well, if we don't get enough sleep, tomorrow's gonna suck. And it's physically taxing on your body. I mean, I struggled with like lower back issues half the time because you're lifting stuff the whole time, then you're still performing your heart out when you play. So it's draining for sure. And we did realize we're not that fit.
Definitely fit after that tour, though. Geez.
Yeah, when it came back, it was feeling good. And now everyone's sitting on the bums during the pandemic. And now I'm back to like super unfit. This is the worst.
A lifetime of exercise compromised, like compressed into fucking 2 weeks. Just,
yeah.
That's it. I've met my quota.
In South Africa, we used to like driving around and stuff. And there, you're just walking everywhere. So you check your fitness apps or whatever you got going. And you're like, wow, 16,000 steps in a day. I don't do this back home every day. It was good. It was fresh air, exercise, like clean air. It was nice.
Yeah, Europe is amazing, man. It's such a
revitalizing.
Now, with the new EP coming up, how many tracks? I think you mentioned that there are 3 tracks on this EP, or did I miss here?
Yeah, it's three bangers. We made sure that it was the best of the best.
No, I'm so stoked for it. You guys, so are you going to be doing an album launch? Hopefully by that point we'll be able to play a bit more shows.
It's really, really tough to say. I think
we're really,
in my opinion, I'd really like to, but I also don't want to do something that's like not worth it. Like I'd rather wait for things to settle to the point where we can do normal shows again. Like doing like a 50-person show for like a which can be a cool turnout on a normal night, but not for like something big. If you want to do like something like an album launch or something like that, it has to be cool, it has to be done right. And I think these days it's a bit difficult to achieve that. Like I think the dust still has to settle a bit.
No, understandable. Now, are you guys going to stick to the quality like short EPs, or are you also going to look at doing like an album? Are you going to like diversify that, or are you going to stick to this for now?
I think it's a very difficult choice to make because like I think I wouldn't say people's attention spans for good quality music coming, or like just music in general coming out from new releases are shorter, but just maybe more directed. So it's like if you're going to release something, listen to a whole album straight compared to listening to a single and then moving onto another band, whether you like it or not, it's very difficult to find the balance between that. So like I think we would dig to do an album, but like I think we're happy with focusing on quality in more concentrated tracks for now, and then maybe if things go well, then doing a full album after that. But for now, I think the format that we're using is best suited for the times and for what we're doing. So maybe in the future, but we haven't really like fully.
Also, resource-wise, it's always quite a tricky thing because I mean, as I said, when you're playing shows, you're selling merch, you're doing all those things. When there's that social aspect, like you kind of get money into the project and you're able to spend a bit more and put more into it. Now, all of a sudden, everything's out of our pockets and it's been draining. So we're a bit like, okay, this is costing now to be in the band. I mean, obviously, in our own capacity, you're always maintaining your own gear and buying your own stuff. And now, all of a sudden, you're putting into all the recording stuff and into the merch stuff and this and that. And it's like, it adds up. So it is quite tricky to have all the funds for like a full length album. And like you want to have it that top notch quality. You don't want to dip and sacrifice any of that. So I mean the shorter stuff is a lot better in that respect. But I think also, as Audrey said, like people's attention span, well, not necessarily attention span, but like people want that instant gratification these days. They want it now, they want it instant, they want it,
Yeah, it's like I'd rather like for me the way like I've been mainly listening to music lately is like it's you find a new band, you listen to like 2 or 3 of their main songs, and then you're already on to the next thing. So it's like if I really like them, I'll save this stuff and listen to it later. But it's so difficult to capture that person or a new person's attention when they listen to your music for the first time and to keep it.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say there's always like this fillers on like a full length. So now we get to focus on just having those straight up bangers. And instead of like writing a full length of a year or two, and then like there's gaps in between everything, rather just consistently every 6 to 12 months, just release like your best, you know?
Do you guys think that the shorter attention span, that the instant gratification thing is a bad thing? Do you think it's like having a negative impact on the community or the music scene in general?
I don't really think so. Like, I mean, I'm guilty of it as well. You know, if I'm listening to a lot of new music, I listen to I listen to the bands like stuff for like here and there, and then I'll move on to the next thing. You know, because there's so much. It's like if you I'm on SoundCloud a lot of the time, and I'm very into like trap metal, hip hop. You know, stuff that I find, and there's so much music. It is like mind blowing how much people are releasing daily, and to like listen to one person's song and then go through the whole thing and move on to the next person, it's impossible. It's literally impossible. And
Yeah,
being
it's like
able to,
overwhelming. There's so much stuff, and you don't have enough
it's
time to get
it's
through
too much
everything.
information. But I think with a lot of things these days, it's not only just music, but I mean being able to take that song, move on to the next, and then come back to it. If it was really that good, or you go back to it and then you listen to all this shit, you know, that's like, so I think it's just that when you can get that first moment, then, you know, then, and that can stick. I think that's the more important to focus on than releasing some, you know, like releasing 10 tracks and then, you know, you're not happy with all the quality of the tracks, you know, like what Graham was describing resource wise, like rather put like a lot of effort into this concentrated part of it and then releasing. I mean, if you can release something amazing and still do an album, that's you know really rad. You know, for I think for most local musicians, it's not easy.
No,
Yeah, I think you
100%.
got to hit them hard and keep coming back and hitting hard and hard every time.
No, that makes 100% sense. Like it's interesting to get different perspectives of this, because I spoke to a band recently who their thoughts on that instant gratification, they believe that it was like killing the music community, that it was killing that whole thing, and that there's so many varied opinions of it.
Yeah.
I think it depends so heavily on your outlook and how you consume media yourself. If you're the type of person who would rather take in something more full length and whatnot, or if you're the person who was like instant gratification, this song hit me in the face, fuck yes, next song, you know, it's like people are different, that kind of thing. I think if you have a balance of both, you know, you take both perspectives into account, you might actually find a nice middle ground there, and it caters to both sort of markets.
No, definitely, and I think that's a cool thing. I mean, if you could do both, it's cool. It's because you know it's like, I mean, I'm a sucker for music genres, but I think most passionate musicians are. So you know, it's like you're listening to not only just metal and hardcore and things like that. You're listening to lo-fi. You're listening to, you know, hip hop. You're listening to anything you can think of that you're really passionate about, even ambient music and fantasy stuff, whatever. And you know, you want to absorb everything in one go, because you know everything is, you can find so much cool shit, but it's like it's not possible, you know.
Sometimes
like,
it's information overload. Like it's just,
finding
it's a lot.
finding that balance between everything is like so important. And I definitely wouldn't say it's not killing. I mean, it's unavoidable. Like the music is so, and technology is in such a hyperdrive mode at the moment. You know, there's millions of people making musicians and, you know, putting it out there everywhere. It's unavoidable.
It's always going to
It's
change. One just has to adapt to that change. I mean, I'm not saying that we specifically looking at this and let's adapt to what's going on. We're just doing our thing. But I mean, it is obviously something to consider every time you are.
I mean, it is gradual.
Releasing.
Like it's if you look at what was required of you like 6 years ago versus what is now, it hasn't just suddenly changed. It's been a gradual. It has been a gradual change. Sure, some things shifted dramatically quickly, but the overall change has been quite gradual and will continue to do so.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting, specifically the days before like social media, when as a kid going to shows and stuff, your thing was finding a flyer and seeing this epic lineup, and you're like, I want to go to these shows. I want to see these bands. Who are these dudes? You couldn't like just go Google them and go like check out who they are. No, you had to go to the show. You had to go check who they were. And it was just like, I don't know, something about it that was just so magical. Now everything's so accessible that it's just like, you know, you can click a few buttons and okay, this is happening there, that's happening there.
Speaking about how media is consumed and these sort of things, is what would you guys like to see be improved in the South African music scene? What do you think needs to happen in order to just build up that infrastructure to have it a bit more stable for the artists within it?
That is a very difficult question.
Because like obviously when you're doing your own thing and you're trying to build up your own presence and stuff, you don't think about what would generally make it better for everyone. Like it's the last thing that I think about.
Yeah, I know. I think a lot of bands, local bands, especially metal and hardcore bands or alternative bands in our country, are extremely talented and have the potential to make quality products and are making quality products. I guess it's very difficult because every genre of music is different. So the way of marketing and releasing your music is sometimes vastly different.
I think we also know here in South Africa, there's like a cap on how many people listen to metal and how many you're going to reach. And because there's so many different subgenres, how are you going to convince all of them that your music's cool?
I think the main thing is to like kind of think about if you want to focus on local promotion and local marketing on your music more, or if the end goal is to make something stick overseas and international. I think finding the balance between that is what makes a band successful in the long run, and that's something that determines whether it will go further or not for themselves. So yeah, no, that's the best thing I could say is bands should really think about, not really necessarily improve, but like determine in the long run what you want to achieve.
No, it's definitely a good way of looking at it.
Yeah, without definitely that's the most thing the main thing I could think of is I mean that's how we would kind of view it in the end. I know, Graham, what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, like we've obviously got a specific target audience here, and once you feel like you've reached the maximum capacity, like you obviously want to try and reach more. So in that way, like we always try and search, okay, what's the next avenue, where to go from here. So I don't know, like for the rest of South Africa, like what would be good, because it's tricky. There's so many different things one can do to get your stuff out there, and it depends if you're thinking only locally or if you're thinking like I want to get. I mean, yeah, if we want to go back to Europe, we're gonna have to target those areas that we can go back and be like, hey, we're back, baby.
I mean, I appreciate and love everyone that's followed our music so far, and the bands that we played with. I mean, we're blessed to have like a really really cool music scene, and having everyone's support and supporting everyone else is it's really really cool. But yeah, in the end, long term wise, yeah, you just gotta kind of reach out there. I mean, if you look at what Volvadinia has done now, it's amazing. It's really really such a big inspiration, and I think if bands look at that mindset, in a musical and business perspective, to try and achieve that end goal, that's like where you're really gonna find out where you can improve and where you can't.
Yeah, shit. Like I think that can be taken really, really well. It's like it's interesting to hear different artists' like perspectives on this, because everyone gives it falls on like one of two sides. People like speak about the bands themselves and also the fans themselves. There's two sides to it. There's two sides to the same coin, and they both play such a pivotal role in the community itself. Like the scene would be nothing without one or the other. Like who would the bands play to if there were no fans, and who would the fans listen to if there were no bands? Like it's a two-way street in that sense.
Yeah, I think luckily there's always going to be bands and people doing their thing, but it's obviously quite tricky these days without shows. It's definitely like a lack of energy to everything. Like you get the stuff online, but you don't have that live feel to everything. So
yeah, I mean, it's like we wouldn't be able to do what we do if it wasn't for the scene that we have here, and the people that come to local band shows and check everything out. We all started out somewhere, and we all kind of have to get together and support each other, and that's a really big thing. Yeah. So it's.
I mean, I miss going to shows. I miss being at a show and watching bands. Like it's fun. It's weird to think that the last time I saw live music was like over a year ago. I mean, there are events and stuff popping up now, but yeah, it's obviously slow and steady up until it gets to a point where it
becomes more feasible.
feasible. Yeah.
But
exactly.
what I'm hoping for is that once live music is back in full swing, is that people will be hungry for it. That people will be like, I haven't seen a band in like a year. I don't care who's
Yeah, I think it's
playing.
gonna
I'm
take a
gonna
while.
go. I don't care who's.
Yeah.
I don't care who's performing. I don't care what genre it is. You know what subgenre it is. I want to fucking go. Like, you know, I want to go have a jaw. I want to go listen to some music. I want to feel that kick in my chest and that noise. And that's what
Yeah.
I'm hoping for, is that people will, like, Durban has always been quiet in that regard. Like Durban is notorious for crowd turnout. Like,
Yeah.
and
Obviously, 'cause it's like Joburg and Durban will always be Joburg and Cape Town are like the flight destinations most of the time, especially like internationals come down, and like you guys always have to travel out to Joburg if you want to go watch like some of the
pretty
stuff.
much,
It's always a tricky one for the derb scene. Yeah.
I think the last big band, because I'm originally from Joburg, and a lot of the guys that I speak to in the community from here, like the last big show was, I think, Bring Me the Horizon.
Whoa.
Oh, the Ramfest show.
I think so. Yeah, that's the main one that people talk about. Is that was the
Oh
last
wow.
like big show where Bring Me the Horizon and Rise Against came through.
Mm.
Yeah, that was
And
Rise Against, one of my favorite bands. So to watch that live was insane.
Bring Me was. I didn't even check them. I was so bummed about that.
like, I was so like it's funny because I wasn't as involved in the music scene as I am now, and like there were so many shows that I've missed of like artists who came through where I'm fanatical about these bands now, and like I kick myself for having missed the opportunity to see them live.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, looking back, it's always such a bummer. Like, oh my god, how did I not know? How was I not aware? How
my
was I not
biggest
Like
regret is
Rams?
Billy Talent, is like having missed Billy Talent, because
Oh,
one of
I would have
my
loved
they
to
came
check
here
that out.
you missed them all 3 times at the
pretty much, dude, pretty much.
Well, yeah,
And
3 times.
Yeah. I saw them the first time they came here. That was actually an amazing show.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
okay, cool. So have you guys done your research on your your socials?
On our socials, yes. You can find us on MySpace and TikTok and Yahoo and Bing and Google. What is our main link? I mean, yeah, Spotify and Bandcamp are our 2 main sources. Do you need actual links of this stuff?
Yeah, where can
mainly if
people where can people find you? What would they have to search to find you guys?
Main thing is just to put Peasant HC. Peasant HC for hardcore. So Peasant Hardcore, Peasant HC. And then you'll find all our stuff. If you put all together one word, if you put that in online, you'll find a link tree to everything. And then our Instagram and YouTube and everything you can think of, Spotify, all that. Yeah, so just Peasant HC.
Cool, fantastic. And you guys' website is also really handy for this too.
Yes,
yeah.
thanks to Pete for hooking us up with all of that and being amazing in all that designing. And yeah, Pete designs all everything for us, art, everything, and yeah, we all just help him along. And yeah, big
The
shout out to
Bandcamp link is one of the best ones because that's got all the merch stuff as well.
yeah,
Gonna be
our Bandcamp is where you can find all our merch links and all that stuff as well.
Yeah, we've got a few like old t-shirts and hoodies and stuff left, and a new merch run coming out soon with more coolest stuff.
That's dope. Where can people find you guys personally? Like, what sort of social, if you're running anything on the side as well?
So we're in Burnham Road in Plumstead. If anyone wants to come visit.
Nice, just dox us. You know, I stay with Graham.
He's in the other room next to me.
I literally live with Graham and we work together. And it's like, yeah, it's Andreas. Like, thanks. I don't have any say in this.
come find us. We're hanging at the McDonald's right now. But what was the actual question? Where can you find us in real life?
Anything
On the
social,
internet.
personal.
Like,
Or if you log into all the games we play, you'll find us online gaming.
Catch us on Discord.
Yeah, okay, just actually,
There is actually
speaking of
something
Discord,
cool to shout out is the Captain Hardcore Discord group. There you can find everyone that is I don't know, doing games online, promoting their own music. Yeah, so check out the
Yeah.
Cape Town Discord
There's actually
hardcore
various
group.
different rooms in
Sweet,
there.
I'll check that out as well.
Yeah,
I'll
there's
tell
gaming
you,
rooms, there's live, there's memes, there's all
memes, live clips,
the
users, networking, local
the-
bands, new release, band recommendations, general chat, all of the above.
try to anyone can join, anyone can post anything. Obviously, that's relevant to what the group's channels are, and yeah, it's cool. Something for us to get together and chat and chill, whatever.
That's dope. You're the first brand that's brought up a Discord. Like it actually, like it, and like the 100 and something artists that we've interviewed, you're literally the first band to be like, join our Discord.
Yeah, we with
it's
the
something-
times, bro.
Yeah, so it's something Peter they created. It's not really like directly associated with the band. It's just for like anyone in the community to.
In that
It's
sort
also
of
not
niche.
exclusively Cape
Games
Town,
and
though,
metal,
like, it works very well together.
I'm currently addicted to Apex, so yes, I can understand. Like,
Ooh, you get along with Graham perfectly.
Oh yeah.
who's your main,
I actually
bro?
haven't been playing. Wraith, Toxic Wraith, bro. Toxic
Oh,
Wraith.
sweaty Wraith. Okay.
I like Caustic, man. Caustic is for pretty cool.
No, I think I have my most kills with Caustic. Like, Wraith
Oof,
was
man, just
cool
leaving those
until they nerfed the
canisters.
shit out of it.
Just leaving those canisters and most people running to them. It's like,
Well, now they nerfed the fuck out of him, so him and Wraith are just shitty, and so now I just run around with Octane and the escape artist.
The resident crackhead.
That's what I feel like when I'm playing drums, just like pulling off my leg casually, you know.
nice.
No, that's right. Yeah, you find like a lot of the metal dudes are all into the gaming stuff as well.
Yeah, that is a very, very true, actually. Like,
Whenever I played games, I used to use band names and stuff to be like, "Oh, rad, I know that band. Like, yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. Now, in closing, I just wanted, do you guys have any like shout outs to anyone in specific who, you know, just to say thank you for anything, or just, yeah, anything really?
Thanks to my mom and dad. Love you, mom and dad. I'll probably never listen to this. Anyway.
Yeah, just to anyone that's supported the band, supported Peasant, and coming out to shows, and getting into our music and buying some of the stuff. Yeah, big thank you to everyone, man. Also all the bands that we've collabed with, and for people in the scene interviewing us and getting
People keeping shit alive right now, which is probably
keeping
the most
alive.
important thing, because we want something to
Yeah.
come back to. And while everything's kind of dead and buried, I mean, we've lost quite a few venues, which is a bummer as well. Like, I don't know which venues are actually left these days, which sucks.
Yeah, so
But,
thank
for
you so much
everyone
for
keeping it alive.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us on board and doing stuff like this. It's it's cool to know that people still care, and it's awesome.
Like, guys,
Yeah,
it's
shot for
been
keeping
dope.
it sludgy and undergroundy.
that is our new slogan. Like,
It's sludgy.
guys,
Guys, if
it's
you ever
been
need
an
a
absolute,
voiceover artist, we got you.
guys, it's been an absolute blast. Thank you so much for taking the time to have a chat with us. And yeah, shit, I'm really stoked. I can't wait for the rest of this EP. It'll be out by the time that this goes up, so
Yeah.
future me will be even more stoked. And yeah, so you can find Sludge Underground on Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Check us out on Facebook. It is just Sludge Underground. On Instagram, which is Sludge031. And then Twitter, which is also the same, which is Sludge031. Find us, tweet us, talk to us. And yeah, it's been an absolute blast. Guys, thank you so much.
Yeah, shout again for having us.
Thank you
In
so
a
much.
6 Saturday afternoon.
By the crack of the bell! Voice to stop the end from insane. I'm running up. will flow.